The self exists in an undivided state in the three worlds, from Brahma the Creator to the blade of grass, as the infinite and self-luminous consciousness. It is one, without beginning and end. It exists as the all, as the inner experiencing of all mobile and immobile beings. So we've had the beginning of Prahlad's contemplation of the self. The self is the infinite, self-luminous consciousness. It's infinite because it allows us to be aware of anything, really. The huge infinite variety of stuff that presents itself to our awareness. And it's in that sense that it's luminous. If it wasn't luminous, if it wasn't light, then it would just be darkness. There wouldn't be anything to be aware of. It exists as the all, as the inner experiencing of all mobile and immobile beings, as the inner experiencing of everything that moves and doesn't move. There's no way of directly knowing the inner experiencing of anything. In a way, it can't really be anything else. It's like space. Space can't be divided up. Space is space, whatever you do to it. I suppose we could pursue the avenue of thought that space actually changes according to the non-Newtonian way of looking at things, the modern physics way of things. Space can be all sorts of shapes. It can expand, it can bend, and all the rest of it. We can talk about the shape of space, but at the same time we still regard it as a homogeneous thing. You can't have more space here than there is here. I think it's interesting to explore that. And perhaps we can eventually at some point talk about the different shapes of consciousness. But in terms of what's apparent to us now, in terms of our direct experiencing, the different shapes of space are also conjecture. In terms of our experiencing, there is only space. It's rather like silence. Silence is what allows sound to happen. So you could always say that sound arises within silence. Silence is the space of sound. And we don't get different shapes of silence because it's not a physical thing. Space is not physical, silence is not physical, conscious is not physical. So to talk about the shapes of such things is interesting theoretically. In terms of our experiencing, these things don't make much sense. So we say it's the self of others as well, because consciousness is that which allows everything to arise. It has no qualities of its own in terms of form, sound and so on.